The red light continues to flash. Darkness, and then red. Darkness, and then red. Everything else falls away. There's a blaring of an alarm. The klaxon continues to bellow throughout these tight, pure white corridors. Equipment has been damaged, smashed, broken. Sparks fly across some of these corridors. The laboratories destroyed. All of the interior locks have been opened, but the exterior, they remain secure. No one is getting in, and no one is getting out. A complete lockdown. For those inside, the specters, the research assistants, the scientists, the doctors, the patients, they are all that remains within these walls. They have few options, and they are now not alone. Revenants, the dead, some of them heavily mutated, twisted and changed, also roam these corridors. Something's wrong. Something about them isn't the same. Something pushes them onward. They rampage in a berserk fury, throwing themselves at anything at all with a pulse. Many of the research scientists here have been dismembered, destroyed, blood splattered across these pure white walls. This is a mobile research facility, one that has been erected right next to the Manchester River. It has been brought here for a specific purpose. And now, through some internal sabotage, everything's in jeopardy. Bear, you've been infected. You were in the cell. You were ready to do what you could to move the project forward, to serve your duty, and to die the way that you lived, in the service of the greater good. But that doesn't seem to be what's fated for you in this moment. As the doors opened, you found yourself in the hallway. You discovered the body of Dr. Venus, apparently with a self-inflicted gunshot to the head. You took her gun, and you realized that the revenants, the dead around you, they paid no attention to you at all. You could walk amongst them and feel it. The wooziness, the numbness in your limbs. Your fingers are dull, and even though you have them clasped around this cold metal gun, you can barely feel it. Every room that you've passed through has been a new horror, a new tableau of dismembered bodies. When you find them, the revenants are barely eating, they're just destroying everything in their path. You're not used to them moving this quickly. And what's probably more disturbing, somewhere deep inside, you feel that fury too. As if a fire slowly burning in your veins, driving you to utter madness. You're in a laboratory. There are shattered panes of glass everywhere. A corpse is lying on the ground in a pool of its own blood. The red light continues to flash as the alarm blares. It sounds like it's a million miles away and inside your head at the same time. What do you do?
I stare at this corpse in front of me. Take a deep breath. And if there's nothing here, I'm gonna try to keep continuing forward.
There are doors open before you. Again, this is a temporary structure, but one that is quite sturdy. The walls are strange polycarbonate plastic with metal interwoven like a grid throughout the structure itself. There are metal tables everywhere. Across the way, you see a number of doorways, dark hallways, movement in some of them.
How many? 3?
3 doors.
Love a choice. I'll take the one on the right.
You start moving towards the door on the right. Everything becomes even more dull. And for a moment, you feel like you're going to pass out. I need you to make an endurance check, please.
Yeah. That is 2 degrees of success.
Quite proud of yourself.
I am.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You do not pass out as you pull yourself through the doorway. It's another long corridor, but it veers off to one side. There are 3 empty cells. But that's not the only thing in this room. There's a figure. Her back is turned to you.
And she's just standing?
You see long, stringy hair flowing down around her. She's completely naked, covered in IV tubes that look like they've been pulled out of machinery. Heart monitor. Stickers are across her back and her arms.
I lift up my weapon and I say, identify yourself.
It's at that point you realize that there's a body at her feet. One of the research assistants, the once white lab coat, is now drenched in gore. And you can see shaggy red hair. And in the flashing red light, you can tell that there's a hole driven through the back of their skull all the way, annihilating their face as if it never existed. A gaping crater. There's gore splattered across the ceiling, and this figure has blood dripping down her right hand as you call this out. DT, sounds like 1,000 miles away, but you do hear a voice. It echoes through your mind. You are confused. You don't remember how you got here. You don't remember what happened to the others. But the one thought that keeps surging through you is sugar. What do?
DT stands looking at the body in front of her. She hears the voice There's something about it that seems a little calming. She's gonna turn around and face the voice.
You see a hulking man covered in bandages. Does not look like he should be alive. Looks like he should be a revenant, a Romero. But as you have seen, has spoken to you and is holding a gun towards you.
DT's not really fazed by what she sees. She just continues staring at him and just asks, "Where's my sister?"
You're not a revenant.
You confuse me. Where's my sister?
Your sister.
Where is she?
What happened here?
They're gone. They deserved it. Do you want to be like them too? Where's my sister?
Small. How big is DT?
TT is about 5'4".
Okay. This is the first person I've seen that actually speaks, even though she's creepy. I'm going to lower my gun, hold out a terribly burned hand, and say, whatever happened, I just want to get both of us out of here.
Can I see him visibly?
It's not exactly sight. You smell his blood. You hear it pulsing through his veins, quick and fast. And you smell the virus within him, the infection. He's sick. You think you can connect to it, if you'd like to try.
Did they do this to you?
Do what?
This. She's gonna gesture to her own body.
You see now the heavy black veins around her eyes. Her eyes, she looks so alive, but those eyes, they're like dark, empty pits. Red flash, darkness. Red flash, darkness.
I was injured on the field. This is not pertinent.
So you work with them? The one on the floor?
Not for long.
Can you take me to my sister?
If she's in here and alive, we'll find her.
DT's not going to connect for now. She's going to see how far this person can take her.
So be it. But it doesn't leave you. His slowing pulse, like a drum. He's dying. He doesn't have long. And you can smell it growing inside of him. Mirin, Agent Mirin, you're standing in the corridor of the research outpost. You've just walked down the hallway away from Dr. Banerjee into the chaos that you had no idea was surrounding you. You're typically a paranoid person, aren't you?
Very much so. It keeps me alive.
And yet, here we are.
Would you say that I have walked into a location hazard?
I would definitely say that you've walked into a location hazard. All the interior doors are unlocked. This is a full and complete breach of security. It's clear to you. Something catastrophic has happened. The only doors that are locked are the ones behind you. The corridor, Dr. Banerjee's office. There's no going back there. And you're standing in the open decontamination room that you had first walked through to get to Dr. Banerjee's office. There's blood splattered where someone, you don't know who, was clearly murdered. Handprints smeared as if they were pulled through the space. Broken equipment everywhere. There are hoses that are pouring steam into the room as the decontamination within this facility seems to be compromised. Now, you're still locked inside of your armor, so you're safe for now. But there's something that wasn't here when you first came through. A large metal crate. It's maybe 4 by 4 feet, like a cube. And it's got the old world insignia of Project Nero, a double helix, like an X, with lines through it. It's sitting almost presentational in the center of the room with a light on it. The red lights are flashing, and somehow there's one light that is casting down on this crate. And on top of the crate is a small handheld radio. Now, your current communications are jammed. Everything within your helmet is haywire. You can't reach the outside world, and as soon as you walked into this room, you realized that your comms were compromised. There is this handheld radio sitting in the center of the room. What would you like to do?
I'm going for the radio.
You step into the center of the room and you grab the radio.
I have my pistol at the ready with the laser sight.
Nothing happens. You're holding on to the radio. It seems to be charged.
I immediately speak into it then, activating the intercom on my actual suit to then speak into the radio.
Yeah, you can connect the two very easily.
This is Agent Mirin, and I require the rest of my squad to report to me immediately. I am on my way to Medical Bay, where I am going to connect with a couple of eggheads that are going to have some goodies for all of the rest of us there. And I need for those in my squad to meet me there. If you are alive and not a revenant right now, guess what? You are part of my squad.
There's a long moment, and then you hear a familiar, pleasant voice. Ah, hello again, Agent Mirin. The voice of Dr. Banerjee comes across the radio. I had hoped that my deception wouldn't sour our relationship, but I can tell now that you're very ready to take action, and that's good. Our future relationship is it's going to require quick and decisive action, which you seem to be quite capable of. I have made the right choice, I can tell.
Shivam, you literally let me walk into a type of ambush situation. On one side, I kind of respect it. If you'd let me know when I was in your office, who knows? I might have dragged you along with me because I would need an egghead to give me my goodies. But on the other hand, this doesn't put us on good footing in the future, Dr. Banerjee, unless there is something that you can do to help out in this situation.
It is regrettable, and I knew that our relationship would be tarnished from this interaction. However, it is essential. I'm afraid that we didn't have the time necessary for us to properly test the loyalties required of you. And so drastic action had to be taken. I've read all of your reports. You're very clearly suffering from a certain amount of clinical paranoia. It put me into a position that I regrettably had to make some very distinct choices.
And feed that paranoia, Doctor.
Well, your clear focus on the future is what I'm counting on here, Agent Mirin, along with what I can only hope to be your desire for survival, your need for perseverance in the face of challenge.
Okay. You know, I'm the one that sugarcoats things for people. Don't you sugarcoat this for me. Be straightforward with what you want. I mean, bullet points, Doctor.
I'm overly verbose. I apologize. I give you the ironclad certainty that your new mission will be without any tenuous conversation. I will give you exactly what you're supposed to do, what you will do, soldier. As per the requirements of this mission, you will follow through, and thanks to our single malt conversation, the neurotoxin that I've introduced to your bloodstream will be mitigated, thanks to Dr. Victor Ramos, who will administer the appropriate dosages to ensure your survival. As the mission progresses, of course. Now see, you don't have to worry about the morality of these things any longer. Our conversation is very clear. You will do as I say, or you will immediately and horribly, painfully die. Are we clear on this, Agent Mirin?
He can't see me, right?
Oh, as far as you know, there are cameras everywhere, but you don't know if they're active.
You can, she doesn't press the button while she's saying this. No matter how paranoid you are, you can never be paranoid enough. Never.
I take your silence as acquiescence, yes?
Aren't we all here just to serve the greater good, Doctor? There literally is no reason for you to have dosed me for this, because even before I knew that I was dosed, my first action was to get my squad together and to get them out of this place, including your top eggheads that you have right now in Medical Bay. So I think that alone says a lot about my worth and my... You motherfucker. I can't believe, after everything that we've been through, you pulled bullets from my body and you decided that I wasn't committed enough, that I wasn't a committed soldier. You know what?
Your worth has never been in question, and your loyalty, in fact, was the problem. You see, we are not working under the permissions of the project any longer. We are rogue. You are working outside of what the sectors are aware of. In fact, the group that I am currently installing you within will be completely hanging in the wind. You're going to be off grid. And I need you to follow my instructions closely so that the hard work that Dr. Victor Ramos and I have done to bring us to this moment can be properly fulfilled. Your loyalty to Nero, in fact, was potentially a problem. And now you don't have to worry about that loyalty. You know that you are doing what must be done to ensure your own safety and security.
And the safety and security of your eggheads that have the antidote that now I need to survive. Is that correct, Shivam?
Precisely. You understand. I'm glad to hear it.
She takes her fingers off of the radio button again, and there's just a bunch of expletives that happen.
You hear You should be flattered. You are the best. I hand chose you. But this was essential to our continued relationship, as I've said before. If you open the case in front of you, I can explain to you what your mission parameters are for the next few hours before the entire site self-destructs.
Finger back on the radio. Well, Dr. Banerjee, it seems that you are living in the legacy of your mother, and one has to have a respect for that. I'm opening the crate now. And takes her hand off of the radio and just kind of drops it on the floor. Doesn't care if it breaks or not, and starts to do the crate.
You open up the crate. There are these metal clasps, and it swings open like a door. And inside, you see a number of Spectre suits that are glossy and black, but they're different than a standard suit. It's clear that these are some form of experimental upgrade. And there are, on the door itself, there are a number of rifles and handguns that are also within that space. There are a couple of boxes that have what must be some sort of research equipment. And there are other containers that you're familiar with that usually hold vials of samples, biological material. They're marked as such. Again, you're not a scientist yourself, but you have trafficked in this material enough to know exactly what these boxes hold. It's all in there in a very organized fashion. You won't be able to move this box on your own. You're going to need to either divvy up everything inside of it or find some sort of aid. I've done you the service of including some upgraded equipment, but I need you to understand that your primary function is to protect Dr. Ramos and Subject Eurydice, more commonly known as 2B74. Starburst, I believe, is the self-designation that she's given herself in the wilds.
The asset that we recovered from Rivertown.
Affirmative, yes, the asset, that exactly. Both are to survive the journey, no matter what the cost. And I've also managed to prepare you with a few of equally loyal Spectres. There is a unit that you'll be taking command of. Now, they all, of course, had to be convinced in the same way that I've convinced you. So you will have a lot in common with them, but I do not doubt their skills or abilities. They will serve you well. Alpha 5 is currently at the ready somewhere within the facility, as is the researcher, the young assistant, Merrick Young, both of which are going to join your unit. And along with Dr. Ramos, you will be evacuating the site post-haste. Additionally, I have a few test subjects that you will be taking along with you. They are considered extremely dangerous.
We're just going to, pull up a whole van for everybody. So please continue.
I have accommodated for that. We do have a helicopter arriving in 1 hour exactly. I'll begin a countdown on the device that I've left for you. There's a data pad there. And as long as you're outside of the facility and you follow my directions exactly, you and this group will move forward to a research facility that I've created for you.
And any other squad members that I deem worthy of being on that helicopter as well, such as Delta 7.
I see no problem with that. Just know that in Delta 7's current state, they may become more of a test subject than a soldier.
I think they're also aware of that. They were already a they were soldier and then test subject, graduated to a soldier, might as well be a test subject again. I don't think they'd have a problem with that if they're still a good soldier.
The cover that's going to be created by the current lunar event is going to give you full and complete stealth in this mission. As soon as you're gone, the research facility itself will be destroyed. I've managed to make it appear that Dr. Venus has gone rogue and will be taking the brunt of all the blame for this catastrophe. The research subjects that I am speaking of all have green armbands. They're lit, and you'll see them located within your data pad itself. You'll be able to track them down, evacuate them from the facility, and be out within 1 hour's time. Now, this is a challenge, but I can offer you no further assistance.
I'm Agent Mirin. I don't need further assistance. An hour? Great. Alpha 5, Merrick Young, Ramos, anybody that I deem worthy to be on that helicopter. Green armbands? That sounds good. We will get this done because you know what? We are soldiers, and that is what we do.
I'm so glad to hear it, Agent Mirin. Welcome aboard. I would like for you, please, to set your timer to 1 hour.
Oh, Jesus.
The data pad is beeping, and you see a number of green dots throughout a map of the facility. We'll come back to you, Agent Mirin. Dr. Victor Ramos. When we left you, you and Dr. Remi had made a startling discovery. Well, Dr. Remi had discovered the corpse of her former lover, her partner, one of the last of her rag and bone crew. She's in shock, distant. The two of you were ready to make a move, correct?
Yes.
The specters that were in the room with you have left. They're fanning out. You know that you have some amount of authority to those that you would meet. There's a lot of chaos in the distance. Through the corridors, you hear screaming. You know that there have been breaches that have allowed many of the revenants, more troubling, some of the mutated revenants, the run of the facility. Things are hazy for you still. You're badly wounded, I'd like to remind you.
Right. So I'm going to look around the room and take advantage that Remi is momentarily stunned, and I'll get back to her. But I want to take stock of what's in the room. How many soldiers are here? Any at all?
They've all left you. There were 4 with you. They've gone through separate corridors to try to secure the area.
And do I still have any research assistants here, or is it just Remi and I?
It's just Remi and you.
Okay, so I am going to, keeping her in my sights, keeping an awareness on her, I'm going to take stock of what is here. I haven't really had a lot of time to take inventory, but if this is the primary medical bay, then they're going to have some good stuff that I utilize. I'm going to go to where that research assistant first gave me the vials that I use, and I gave myself like this adrenaline boost. I'm going to take stock. I want to see what's in there.
You go over to a small box, and it's refrigerated, and you can, as soon as you open it, you see that you've got maybe 6 or 7 vials within this this case. Mm-hmm. The one that was given to you, I believe I gave you 4 vials. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. So you in total have 10 vials. You take a quick stock of what they are. Most of them are adrenaline boosting drugs that will help you or any of the soldiers move forward without any sort of residual attention to pain that you might be feeling.
Okay.
You know that it'll dull your senses enough that it'll allow you to persevere if you're wounded, which for you is a very good thing because you had suffered a gunshot wound. And you have still been healing from that this entire time.
Yeah.
So what I am going to ask you right now, Victor, is as you look over to Remi, that terrified small capuchin monkey is still on her shoulder, and it's wrapped in these bandages. It clearly was also a victim to the experimentation of Nero when it was retrieved. However, Remi seems to have an attachment to the creature and has decided to bring it with her. After seeing the body of her former lover, she's not been the same. And she's sort of in a dazed state, walking around, and all she keeps mumbling is, we have to get out of here. We have to take Starburst with us. We can't leave her here. We have to save her. I can fix this. I can fix it all.
Okay. Look, listen. And at this point, I'll approach her. You have to stay with me, okay? We are in danger right now, and we will take care of this.
You killed him!
I did not.
He's dead! And I wasn't there. And she's shaking as she nearly collapses.
I kind of try to brace her, even though I know I'm wounded, but I still have that kind of adrenaline shot. So I'm going to kind of guide her back to the bed and sit her down.
You set her right next to Starburst, who I'll remind you is comatose. And the young, wild child is on a series of machines right now and hooked up to IVs. The entire table could be wheeled like a gurney, but you are one man with two people who are going to be very hard to maneuver through the corridors if you're planning on not doing what you were told to do, which was to stay here while the specters fan the area out, trying to find an exit.
I have a million things running through my mind, all things that I feel like need to be gotten to, but immediately I'm going to then take Remi and have her face Starburst. You act as if you've been completely abandoned by everyone that you cared for, but the reason why this person is still alive is because of you. So you need to focus. I know that you are good at your job. I know that I can tell a brilliant mind when I see it. And that's what we need right now. I need you. I need you to focus. I need you to help me. I need you to help me keep this person alive. So this is your task. I want you to monitor them. Do the doctoring things that you know to do. Keep this person alive. Check their vitals. Make sure that they stay alive. Like what you want. You want to take her with us? Make sure that she's in the state that can handle something like that. Focus.
You're right. I can do that. And she begins kind of like slowly working, taking care of the patient. I do want you to make a spot listen, please. I'd like for you to add 1 black die of difficulty because that red light is continuing to flash. It's the only light that you've got here, so it's not exactly easy to see clearly.
Oh, yes. This is going to be 5. So that's 9 total. I rolled a 4 plus 5.
So 5 degrees of success?
Yes.
You have an option. You can take an additional competency point, or you can buy yourself some survival points. Now, the survival points can be used within this facility.
I have a decent pool of survival points right now. I will take the competency.
Okay, you get an additional competency. I will also tell you very immediately that your eyes drop down to Starburst's arm, and on her wrist you see a medical ID bracelet that you hadn't noticed before, and there's a very faint, small green pulsing light on it.
Huh. I want to... And I've never seen something like this before. I don't know.
You've seen these before.
Okay.
They're medical IDs that are used for tracking. They keep patients within the system, the data paths. It means that someone is connected. Even though it seems like all the communications are down, all of the internal electronics within this facility have been compromised. For whatever reason, this is working.
Okay, this is bad. I'm going to investigate that bracelet, and I want to see if there's a way to unattach it.
All right. Roll digital systems for me.
Dang. My digital systems is a 33, and I rolled a 62.
Okay, so you now have 2 degrees of failure.
Got it. Just barely, almost worse than... Okay, so 2 degrees of failure.
If you it doesn't do anything damaging to the bracelet. You just can't take it off without causing something else to happen.
I'm not.
And you know that it's going to send an alert or an alarm or something if you try to break this off.
Okay.
So you fail.
We will deal with that later. I have given Dr. Remi the task to monitor Starburst. I'm going to move away from that, and I'm going to start to go to the entrances into this place. I want to double check that they're sealed properly. And if I have any control from the inside to unseal them, if I decided that that was the best course of action.
You try to lock the doors.
Are they unlocked?
They are unlocked.
They are unlocked.
All of them are unlocked. In fact, you realize now that all of the doors throughout the entire facility on the interior of this outpost are unlocked.
No.
And that explains the screaming and the horrid howling sounds that you're hearing in the distance. The dead are loose within the facility, and this is a breach of enormous magnitude.
And they're winning if my soldiers are out there and not coming back.
Your soldiers are not back yet.
Then I'm going to try to seal us in.
You attempt to close the door.
Mm-hmm.
It beeps, and it's still unlocked.
Okay, this is really bad. I'm going to. I need to assess what's going on. How many entrances are there into the space?
4. One of them is into an observation room that doesn't have any other entrances or exits. No one is in there. But the 3 other doors are corridors that lead off to various points within the complex. This is, again, a mobile unit that has been set up, but it is massive. And it has been set here, and it's extensive.
Okay, I'm going to go back to Dr. Remi. Change of plans. We need to relocate.
She's sort of dazed, and it's going to be very difficult to move the patient.
We need to move the patient. We this has been breached. Through that door is a more private room with only one entrance, and I feel like that's the more secure place.
Oh, yes. If we're not going further than that, we can do this. And she starts moving equipment and unplugging things and putting things onto battery packs on the table itself, as there are some power packs on the bottom of this rolling gurney.
And while she does that, I'm going to go into that other room and see if there's anywhere in there. It's an observation room as well, right? So I'm assuming that there are places to plug everything back in, so that we're not just running on battery.
Well, you don't know what's actually functional, because remember, most of the electronics in the space have been rendered inoperable. There are sparks flying out of some things. The red light is flashing. None of the overheads are working. The siren continues to blare.
Trying to do one thing at a time as opposed to everything at the same time. I will have gone into that room, taken a quick look, and then come right back out. And I will stick my head out of each of the other corridors to see if I can determine, based on the screams, where the activity is located and where there might be quiet. Kind of get a lay of the land, I guess, in that sense.
I'll come back to you.
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
Bear, there's something behind you. There's movement in the room that you've just entered in from.
I whip around.
There is a nebbish young man with horn-rimmed glasses, blonde hair that's been slicked back way too close to his skull. He looks thin and pale and is wearing a lab coat, and you can see that he has an armored chest plate on, and everything with the dome over his head that kind of encapsulates him in. But he looks worried and a little sick, like he's nauseous, holding on to 2 things: a data pad in one hand, where you can see the glow coming onto his face, even with the red flashing light, and in the other hand, a rifle. This rifle is awkward and way too big for this small man to be carrying this way, kind of dragging it behind him, and blood is splattered across his white lab coat, as you can see him now. And then he looks up at you, drops the data pad, and raises the rifle. And it's awkward. It looks like it's about to throw him backwards as he stands there. Hold.
You're gonna hurt yourself with
Oh,
that.
thank God. You're alive.
I hold out a hand for the rifle. Silently.
I'm good. I'm okay here with this gun. You're a Spectre.
Delta 7.
Great. Delta 7. I'm Merrick Young. I'm a research assistant. I'm afraid I'm trying to evacuate a patient that's within this cell. I need your immediate assistance. You're going to comply with my orders. Is that understood, soldier? Spectre, I need you to reply.
Understood. Is that a data pad?
Yeah, yes.
May I use it?
It's officially been assigned to me from contacts I cannot divulge at this point in time. Why do you want to use my data pad, Spectre?
To contact my superior.
I hate to break it to you, Delta, but there aren't many of us left in here. Is the patient out of their cell? And you
I
can
look
see,
back,
yeah,
yeah.
he's trying to look past you. You're huge, so he cannot see
Hard
past
to
you.
see.
Yeah.
Her.
You didn't think it was possible, even in this red flashing light, in the glow of this data pad, for this individual to get paler. But he does, and he takes 2 steps back, nearly dropping the rifle as he looks at her. Delta, I need you to move over to the side of the room very slowly.
Are you looking to contain the patient?
Our task is to evacuate. However, the patient should be restrained.
We're going to have to restrain you. I am very clearly so annoyed.
There's a series of white lab coats hanging on pegs on the wall as well. It doesn't seem to be bothering her that she's standing there completely naked, covered in tubes, but you can see that it might be best to keep her warm.
I will reach for the coat and hold it towards DT. I'm not necessarily as concerned with following this person's orders because even though he is technically a superior, he is not my superior. But I hold it out towards you.
He's going to slowly grab the lab coat. But as soon as she grabs it, she looks at him and says, "No restraints." And then takes the coat. I'll put it on.
She's fine to come along.
I hope you know what you're doing, Delta, but you're in charge of the subject. At this point, I'll remain at a distance here, and I'll cover you. And you can see that with the rifle and the data pad, there's no way that this nerd is ever going to be effective with this rifle. Probably shooting himself over anything that might be attacking you. Would you like to try to convince him to give you the rifle one more time?
Yeah, I'm going to contain my urge to roll my eyes and flip my pistol so that I'm holding the barrel and hold it out to him by the handle. A little more your speed.
Trades you. So you now have the rifle. He takes the handgun and looks at the data pad and again just like points it like just instinctively at you, DT, for a moment. What do you do?
Detail, take it.
You take the gun out of his hand.
Yeah.
You step forward and he doesn't stop you. You take the gun. He wasn't trying to give it to you. You realize that he was instinctively trying to protect himself against you, but you're now holding the gun and he's shaking as he backs up against the wall. He looks like he's about to wet himself. That's subject Philia. We have we need to go.
Come on.
Just kind of like awkwardly skates past you, DT, and stands really close to Delta.
Just keep going. I will deal with the half revenant with the gun situation later. Your lead.
This way. And starts to kind of like stumble forward through the flashing red lights of the corridors, leading you through. You do notice that he stops often and is listening to the rooms ahead. He's not a complete idiot. Not about to charge forward into the space, leaving all of you exposed to whatever might be on the other side. DT, you're starting to feel them around you. They're close. Many of them are full of anger. Anger? Something is causing them to go wild, to rampage in this berserk fury. And it starts to seep into your very being. You kind of start to feel a swell of it yourself as you start to connect to them. It's unintentional. You're just passively able to feel their presence in the corridors around you. You know that 3 of them are close. They're not very strong. They're new. The gift isn't changing them yet. Maybe they just returned to all of us. What would you like to do?
DT's gonna stop in the hallway for a second. She doesn't really know what to think about these emotions. And she's gonna turn to the man. I say they're angry.
You hear bashing against the walls as this corridor shakes and a door starts to cave inward as if something is going to break through it. It actually pops the hinges on these very sturdy, hermetically sealed doors. And you see steam flowing out from underneath the door as whatever it is nearly broke it down.
Yeah.
You did this to us. You should let them kill you all.
They won't kill me. And I'll head towards the door and kind of ready my rifle towards it. But before I do that, that was a concerning piece of information that you just said to me. I would like to try to take the gun from DT. Just reach with a huge hand.
Yeah, do you allow the gun to be taken, or would you like to keep it?
I'd like to keep it.
Well then, it seems like we have a contested role.
Yes, we do.
You both can roll a brawl.
Okay.
It's not a physical fight per se, but it's more of a effort of playing keep away.
No.
That is 1 degree of success for me.
How badly did you roll?
Is that fall under? I got
Where are you? That is 1 degree of failure for you.
Yeah.
Now, you do have competency, and if you wish to spend them, you can adjust that total. For every competency point you spend, you'll get closer to success. You would have to currently spend 3 to match the success that Bear currently has.
She succeeds, she just takes the gun, right?
If Bear succeeds, he's going to take the gun from you.
I also do still have all of my competency. I just want to put that out there.
I wasn't going to advertise that, but you've done it for me.
I want to be, we're PvP here, but
All right.
Fair enough.
I'll let this slide and I'll let him take the gun. So it's just
Well, the gun is, he snatches the gun out of your hand before you can really react. You're still sort of hazy. Everything feels like you've been wrapped in gauze. Your connection to the world around you feels muted. So you aren't as quick as you normally are. And the gun is snatched out of your hand.
you don't have training. And I'll go towards the door.
As the door, again, another hit. And behind you, you feel the presence of the research assistant as Merrick keeps away from the door and lets you do your thing. Are you trying to open it?
Is there anything around that I could just try to wedge it shut with, or does it seem that this is a kind of thing that is inevitably going to happen?
Eventually that door is going to break
And there's nothing to barricade or strengthen it with around us?
There are plenty of things. There are shelves and other things that you can pull from another room and stack up against this wall, against the door. However, if you're going to continue the way that Merrick was leading you, you have to go through it.
Ah. Fair enough.
There are perhaps other ways, but this was the way that you were led.
Mm-hmm. Can I tell if this seems to be just one particularly enthusiastic revenant, or if it is more than one?
I mean, it sounds like at least one. There may be more. It's hard to tell.
I'm gonna look back at Young and say, I suggest finding a place to hide.
He doesn't hesitate and pulls back deeper into the room and hides behind a cabinet.
Okay.
Turns off the data pad and just is like huddled, shaking in a corner. You can smell his fear and the sweat on him. Do you move at all, DT, or do you just stand there?
DT's going to stand there for now. Is she still able to take control?
If you like.
Yeah. DT is going to stand there staring at the figure. And she wants to walk up to it.
You're talking about the creature on the other side of the door?
Yeah.
Or are you talking about Bear?
The creature for now.
All right. The door is still barricaded and closed. So as soon as that door opens, and you are closer, you feel like you'll be able to do that. You don't need line of sight. You don't need to see it because you feel it. It's not about sight. But you need to be a little closer.
DT is going to turn to Bear and ask if this is the only way out.
Could be.
Can you get me closer?
Why?
I need it. I need to feel it.
I don't necessarily think that's wise.
Do you know what's wise? Look at you.
I'm accustomed to insults.
Fine. What way do you see?
I'm going to kick down the door.
The door flies open. Mirin.
Can I pause Mirin's clock, which is probably at 30 minutes at this point, and instead role play what has happened in the 30 minutes since Mirin got her hour deadline?
You don't need to pause it. Just tell me what you've done in the time that you've
I
been...
would love in that 30 minutes for Mirin to have set off a different colored beacon for the crate, perhaps purple, as a rallying point, to have connected with Alpha 5 and to at least be at the doorway of Medical Bay to be able to interact with anyone who's there.
I'll give you even more than that if you want it. You have the time to change your suits. There are 3 suits in there. One of them could be yours if you want it.
Is it a better suit than I'm currently wearing?
You've never seen a suit like this. It's clearly experimental. You would hazard to say that Banerjee has provided you with nothing but the best.
Then I will also do the suit.
The reason it takes so long is that there's a safety protocol so that you don't expose yourself. And I'm not going to make you roll anything. We're going to assume that you are well trained enough to perform this under duress. You can feel, even though it's lighter, it feels denser than your previous suit. You know it's giving you more protection. You also know that the internal structures of the environmental controls are a huge improvement. You can breathe more clearly. It's easier. You feel as if you're more mobile. You have managed to set the beacon on the data pad, and you see now where the other 2 operatives are on the map. Alpha is not too far away from you, probably 3 rooms to the south. And then the research assistant, Mary Young, is moving towards you, only 1 room away.
Then I would go for the closer while I'm trying to go for the ones that are further away, kind of like a scoop up, sweep back round, or to inform, to get them back to the crate. So then, because we're on a timer.
Are you using a handgun or a rifle?
I'm using laser sight pistol because I get an automatic success with that.
The pistol that has been provided for you in the crate, it also has a laser sight, one that seems to be upgraded from your current model.
I will utilize that. What's the
As soon as you turn it on, it has a triangular laser pattern that is in green, works its way across the wall, and it is immediate, swift, and is going to improve your targeting systems. So you move up against the door. It's currently unlocked, the door that you're up against.
this is the Merrick Young door?
No, one room removed from Merrick Young.
I would open and taking the usual Spectre precautions, sweep the room to go inside to the next.
The wall and the door that you're standing in front of is very thick, so I'll have you make a spot listen check before you open it. I'm not going to impose any dice of difficulty.
I have 2 degrees of success, not including my recon gear.
The recon gear would improve that, so we'll call it 3 degrees of success, and I'll also say that it doesn't take you long as you're standing there preparing to enter, that you do hear muted, pain-filled groaning and growling. It's very, very subtle, but you think that there are revenants on the other side of the door. At least one.
From the
maybe
data
more.
pad, I can... Looking at this, there isn't a different way into this room that doesn't eat a lot of time?
No, it's like a starburst pattern, and Merrick is currently between you and you're in the hub right now.
Okay.
And so you'll be able to go to any of these other chambers, but Merrick's not getting out without your help, probably.
Okay. All right. So I get the layout of that then. Alpha 5. Are there obstacles that I can see between myself and Alpha 5?
Just 4 chambers, but it's off in a separate direction.
I might need backup for this particular room to clear it.
You're going to backtrack then?
I either clear the room myself or I get backup.
It's up to you.
I'm going to clear the room myself. We don't have time.
You're right.
Utilizing my upgraded equipment and the element of surprise. Utilizing stealth with this and my sharpshooter skills of a ranged weapon, I'm going to enter and clear this room.
I'll let you make the stealth roll, and if you succeed, I will give you a free action.
That was 3 degrees of failure that just happened for stealth. So you know what? Screw it. We're not going to do stealth. Still going to clear the room.
You open the door, you're trying to be quiet, and you realize that there are a number of large shelving units that have been toppled over, and as soon as that door opens, the shelving units fall, crashing loudly in front of you. As 2 revenants immediately turn towards you. They don't stop at all. They just start running towards you. There is black bile pouring forth like tears down their face, and their mouth is a river of bile as it explodes out before them as they charge towards you.
I'm going to use my sharpshooter ability to shoot multiple targets.
All right.
Using also the laser sight on this upgraded pistol, if that's okay.
It is more than okay. I will, however, have to have you roll 4 blue dice since you're doing a double action. And these 2 creatures are going to be charging directly towards you at that time.
So I got a 24.
The 2 revenants cross the space very, very quickly, and both of them are attempting to grab you. As you raise your pistol, one of them catapults over the shelving. In its momentum, it has thrust itself past you and rolls into the other room. The second one grabs onto you. You can make a dodge roll.
Okay. I rolled a 24. I have a 45. So that's 2 degrees of success?
Do you want to spend a competency?
I have to
2 degrees.
to not be grabbed by...
So 2 competency points.
Unless, if I'm grabbed by them, to make it a wash, that I can then make a pistol roll, that now that they're closer to me, it'd be even easier to do headshots.
I see your argument, but I'll tell you what happens. You have the ability to spend 2 competency points and fire. When you fire with it this close to you, it's not going to be as accurate, so you'll have some dice of difficulty. Not because you're not a good shot, but because it's overtaking you and is pulling you into a melee action while you're trying to shoot it. That said, if you do succeed, it will be an automatic headshot.
I'll take that deal.
All right. Go ahead and roll your pistol. You do have the upgrades because of it. Even in this moment, the laser sight will still be effective. Just don't fail.
Don't tell me how to live my life. Okay, I didn't fail, which is nice. I have a 75% for my pistol. That's not including my upgrade that I have with that. I rolled a 59.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. You have 5 degrees of success. The head explodes, and the Revenant splatters across the wall. And you're completely in a suit, so you are not affected by the bile that has just erupted like a volcano in front of you. The corpse tumbles past you, and then the door across the room is kicked down.
Delta 7, behind me. Get it.
I raise my rifle.
It's at this moment that you see the Revenant pull itself up as it throws itself at Agent Mirin.
Go to take a shot.
You had better hope you succeed, because this thing is vibrating with rage and moving much faster than any Revenant that you've seen.
Yeah.
Go ahead and shoot.
Woof. Okay. I do have a +2 to my long gun. Okay. 1 degree of failure, but I am going to use 2 competency points to make that a degree of success.
All right. With a single degree of success, I'm going to make a damage roll. The Revenant jerks back and is slowed momentarily as your bullet rips through its chest.
Mm-hmm.
It's still going. DT? With the door down, you now feel them all around you. They're more, not far away, but there's one that's very close, and you feel that anger and rage move through it. What would you like to do?
I'd like to take control of it.
Make a command roll for me, please.
Command's 55.
Oh, shoot. You have 5 degrees of success. She rolled a 2.
Agent Mirin, this thing is inches away from you, and it just stopped. You see its ragged, broken, drooling mouth out of the corner of your eye. What do you do, DT? You have control.
DT just takes a deep breath. It says, calm.
It just stands there as you see this slip of a young woman step behind a bear. Black eyes staring right at the Revenant beyond you as it stands there swaying.
I immediately strafe backwards out of melee range of this Revenant while I'm looking over at Delta 7, looking over at this other one, looking back at the Revenant. Know what? I don't care. Don't care. It stopped. That was enough for me. This is a lot. Right now. This is a lot. That's all right. We don't got time to deal with that.
Agent Mirin, the research assistant Merrick Young, who you are familiar with in passing, stumbles forward holding the data pad and looks at you. It seems we are unified. I'm reporting for duty. I've secured one of the subjects.
You've secured? Where's your gun? Where's your gun, soldier?
Well, I have delegated to Delta 7 the necessary duties of a Spectre, as I am here to oversee.
Agent Mirin looks over at Delta 7 and reads a lot in that
you
look.
You can definitely tell that Merrick is full of shit.
Right. So you bring your data pad, which is now the thing that you are armed with. Myself, Delta 7, and I'm Agent Mirin. Hello. What can I call you?
They're angry.
Ophidius. No, Ophelia. I'm sorry. This is Project Ophelia. Designation 7423. I think it's different from our previous. You don't care, do you?
Great. So what is their name when they're at home and the shoes are off? What do I call you?
Where's my sister?
What do I call your sister?
Sugar.
Are you Spice? What do I call you?
DT.
DT? And you want to find your sister Sugar?
Yes.
And you can control them?
Yes.
We'll find your damn sister. We need to go. Come with me and Delta 7 and the Egghead. We have a couple of other people we have to collect, and we have to get the hell out of Dodge. We will grab Sugar. Sugar, yes. We will grab Sugar on the way.
Despite her unassuming appearance, you should be very cautious. There are copious notes on this subject.
All right, did you just stop that Revenant behind me? Or did DT just step that Revenant behind me? Are we filled with a base of Revenants right now? Are we not filled with... Are there just like plushies that are all in
Agent.
this?
Understood. I apologize. You're in charge here.
If you don't have anything
Yeah.
to add to this conversation besides your med kit or that data pad,
Yeah.
I need for you to do a little bit more of this because my line on Eggheads is very thin right now, and we still have more to collect.
Copy that. I'll shut up.
Let's continue forward, Delta 7, so that you know, Dr. Banerjee, you earmuffs. Dr. Banerjee is full of shit, and he's trapped us in here. We have to collect Dr. Victor Ramos, Alpha 5, this Egghead here, earmuffs.
I don't know what that means.
And we have to get out of here because within probably, let's say 15 minutes, all of this is going to go up in smoke. And there's a helicopter that is waiting for us. Are we an effective team, Delta 7?
We're an effective team. They don't see me as a threat. I can take point.
Well, at least something good came out of this shit fest, huh? You let me know the second you can't, because then I will fulfill my promise to you. You remember my promise, Delta 7?
Yes.
Go ahead and take point. And we're gonna go into formation, heading towards Alpha 5, who is on the way to the medical bay.
You're making your way through the space, and they're around. And you can tell that because there's living flesh with you, they're stalking you now. They're coming closer. There doesn't seem to be much conscious thought behind it. They'll be here soon, DT.
DT wants to look at them both and ask them, do you know where my sister is?
Egghead,
Yeah.
give me some coordinates on this one's sister, named Sugar.
We didn't intake a sister named Sugar.
What do you mean?
We just
What did
intook
they-
the patient.
DT, what did they look like? Sometimes these eggheads miss things. There's a lot of paperwork that they like to do.
13 minutes, 30 seconds.
They were taller than me. Had colored hair.
Experimented on like you? Were they immune?
They're
Like you?
dead.
They
She could speak.
If they weren't taken in, that means that she's outside of this facility, which is our current goal.
it is not usual for us to ever take in revenants, even ones that are exhibiting intelligence, like you're saying.
Are you lying?
I never lie. I don't care what people think or feel, so I don't bother to lie. That means that your Sugar is outside of the space. I have a way outside of this base. We get outside of this base, we can help find your sister. But the chances are extremely small that they are even here.
Meanwhile, within the operating chamber, you have moved Starburst along with Remi. Is that where you're going to stay?
There's a couple things that I would have done.
You were
in the
keeping your
meantime.
ears open, trying to hear what was happening down the
Yes.
corridors. All you hear now is silence.
I'd like to see if I can find a data pad within this facility.
All right. You can make a search roll. Or you can spend some of your survival points.
How many survival points?
50.
I will give you that, and I will find that data pad immediately.
You find a data pad. Strangely enough, it is it's underneath Starburst's bed, and
see.
it's already on.
Great.
And you see a map of the facility on it.
Do I see any indications on any pings on people or anything?
You see the indication of a green dot that represents Starburst. You see a number of other dots that are strewn across the base. And then you hear something. Something coming from the corridor ahead of you.
Does it sound like people talking? Does it sound like...
It just was a very quiet shuffle, like you barely heard it. It sounded like something moving against the floor.
I am going to retreat back into the one room that we have backed into, the observation room, and I'm going to seal that door.
The lights are still flashing on and off, and the siren is blaring. You move back. You try to close the door?
I try to close the door.
It doesn't lock.
I'm just going to try to close it and stay quiet. At least. If it doesn't lock, if none of the doors lock, I'm going to at least try to close them. So that if a revenant is on the other side, maybe they can't hear us and can't smell us. Maybe it'll make us less detectable.
Make a spot lesson check, please.
One degree of failure. I'll pump 2 competency into that.
To make it 1 degree of success.
Yes.
You needed 3.
Oh, can I give you another? After
You
the
would
fact?
need 2.
I'll give you all.
Are
I'll
you
give
in
you the 2.
Are you in a separate lab?
I mean,
You spend all of your competency, Victor Ramos, as you barely hear it. There's something on the other side of the door, and it is entering in. It's about to kick the door down. You feel the momentum of the kick. You're right next to the door. You should probably move.
I am moving.
Make a dodge check.
Out of the way. I am going to 4 degrees of failure.
Yeah, you take, hold on. A 5, a 3, and a 4 in temporary damage as the door swings open and knocks you across the room. You roll back.
Does my shot of adrenaline allow me? any
You're ignoring the
benefits?
pain,
Got it.
but you still take the damage. I'll let you deal with that later with your damage threshold, but you immediately see a laser target that draws directly onto your forehead as you see an armored specter standing there.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Stand down, soldier. Stand down, I said.
Stops, looks across the room. You can see a 5 emblazoned on their armor. Dr. Victor Ramos,
Yes.
gather your assets. We're evacuating now.
That's...
That is an order. Now, Doctor.
We'll deal with your attitude later.
Shut your fucking mouth.
I
Get the
immediately
assets and let's go.
I'm taking note of this person who's rubbing me the wrong way, and I'm the person out in the field that's going to be giving him some little goodies.
It is a female form, and her eyes are a very bright green behind the helmet. You can see them, and she doesn't seem to give a shit.
Neither does Victor Ramos. Great. I'm going to go back in. I'm going to get to Remi. Hey, they're here. We got to go.
All right. And
Let me give you something real quick. Something that's going to help you focus.
I don't want your drugs. I don't need anything. I can do this.
Okay. I'm going to trust you on that. Let's get her out of here. I'm going to gather everything that we have, and I'm going to follow Alpha. I'm assuming this is Alpha 5.
Yes. Alfie moves down the corridor and leads you forward. There are revenants, but Alpha immediately takes care of them. Quick, efficient. This is a soldier who knows what she's doing. In the central corridor, Agent Mirin, you see Alpha's dot along with a number of other dots converging on your point. There are a few subjects that have not yet been collected, and you're running out of time. What do you want to do?
Alpha 5, Merrick Young, Victor Ramos. Have to make it to the helicopter. Do we have a meeting spot for the helicopter?
Yes.
Is it near the purple dot that I had done before where the case was?
Yes.
Okay. I've made that purple dot very apparent to every data pad that's here. Again, on the radio, as I see Alpha 5's dot heading towards us. Converge on purple. We have some things to pick up, and we have got to get out. We have less than 5, so double time.
You're using
everyone.
the hand radio that has been given to you, correct? Not your
Yeah.
internal. Right. You don't hear anything. And when you've used this before, the only person that you were able to contact was Dr. Banerjee.
Is there an intercom in my suit, or an intercom system that is still available in the base?
You could perhaps get that to work. There are intercoms throughout the base, but the question is do you want to spend the time trying to make it work?
But they're not working.
Yeah, well, the lights are flashing, and a lot of the other equipment is obviously not working, so it would be a risk.
I'm going to rely on Alpha 5's intelligence.
Yes.
Now that I see that they're being a good soldier and coming towards our collective, and then I'm going to stop our group. We're heading back to designation purple. That is where we are evacuating. There are a number of things that we're going to pick up along the way from a crate there, and we are getting out. Delta 7, inform your new friend of what loyalty means to me, and that I keep my word because I don't care about people's feelings.
They're coming fast.
And we're going to move faster. Thank you for that warning, DT.
They're very angry.
They haven't met me yet. And we're going to double time it back to purple signal.
Anyone who's searching for any of the remaining dots that are on this data pad can make a search roll.
Only 1 degree of failure.
Yeah. No, Mirin's very focused on getting back to purple and getting out.
Well, thanks to Merrick Young, 2 of the cases have been retrieved. They're fairly large. They're not any bigger than maybe 2 by 2. Almost like large briefcases, but they're metal, much like the case that you were given. Mm-hmm. You can carry one. Merrick certainly is not strong enough to carry one. Someone else will have to take the other.
How strong are you, little Shug?
I can carry it.
Can they? I'll put a case out to you.
Make a quick lift pull.
So you've got 39. Oh yeah, you're fine. That's 2 degrees of success.
You easily hoist this container, and all of you make your way through. You will have missed 1 container, but if you're willing to make that sacrifice, you will make it out in time. Otherwise, the whole mission is
We have
scrubbed.
to get out.
Mm-hmm.
All of you, including Alpha, Victor Ramos, and the other 2 targets, make their way to the purple designation. The radio that you're holding comes back to life. I can see from here that this has been successful. Well done, Agent Mirin. There is one more thing that you have to accomplish before I can effect the evac. I just need Dr. Victor Ramos. Are you there?
I'm here.
Dr. Banerjee. Yes. I need you to remove the tracking devices on all of the agents.
I'm sorry, what?
There's a device that's inside of the case. You're going to have to act quickly. I only have a few
Vicky,
minutes.
I
Do
cut
it.
to it immediately.
There is a large metal device that looks like a syringe gun. However, it has a long spinning drill in the interior of it, and you're going to have to breach their armor, open the suits.
Everybody open your suits now. We're running out of time. And I
pull-
reach back to to the back of my neck. and
Immediately, soldiers, open your suits.
You
Put
know
two and two
exactly
together.
where to do this.
I'll go one at a time.
I just want you to make one advanced medical roll right now, and you better be quick.
2 degrees of success.
You manage to pull the last one just in time as the roof is pulled off and tethers drop down from a helicopter above you. You see these large bomb-like drones circling as the entire group is pulled into the helicopter just before the whole thing explodes into a fiery ball. You manage to evacuate just in time.
I'm going to ride the platform all the way up, going, "Yay!"
You feel them below, DT. You see them running and charging, breaking through the door just as you and your group pull out. As you enter into this helicopter, you hear his heart stop. Bear is dead. But he's about to wake back up.
Can I control Bear while he's dead or not until he comes back?
We'll be right back. As the sleek black helicopter enters into the night sky, there is a foggy, heavy cloud cover that breaks. And as the unit huddled into the back of this transport vehicle are surrounded with the crates and the boxes that have been dragged along with them in the evacuation of the outpost before it self-destructed. As you all are gathered there, you see it looming in the sky, a large red moon. It's full, and it reflects back like blood. No one feels this more acutely than DT. What are you doing as these soldiers? It's loud, the whirling of this helicopter, but again, it feels like you're under layers of cotton. It's all muted and kind of drawn away, and you feel your blood boiling as this rage emanates within you and from underneath you, and it's like you can feel every revenant within a mile, all of them tearing anything and everything apart in front of them, moving faster with more fury than they ever have before. Reawakened. You're in the back of this helicopter. What are you doing?
DT is sort of frozen, like in a state of shock to people on the outside, but inside her head just can't stop. It's like she can hear the screams over and over. She can just hear them. And she's just getting angry but trying to figure out a way to calm herself. So she's just going to sit there. She's going to get up and she's going to walk to the closest person to her.
Bear's right across from you. It doesn't seem like anyone else has noticed that his head sort of leaned back as soon as you entered into the helicopter, and then you heard those final beats as it slowed and then stopped as the virus took him.
DT's just so angry at this point, she's going to walk over to Bear's body. She's just going to grab his shoulders, just start squeezing and like shaking him almost. Why did you do this to them? Why did you do this? At least now you'll be useful.
All of you are watching as Bear's head, this enormous man being held by this small girl, grasping onto his shoulders, his head rolls forward like a rag doll's. And you watch as black bile pours forth from his mouth.
Oh no.
I immediately pull up my pistol, laser sight activated, at Bear. Delta 7. Are we an effective team?
He's mine now. DT wants to try to control him.
Roll a command, please.
36.
That's 30 degrees of success, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
You have control. You feel his fledgling, awakened self renewed in the world. These dead, clear, empty eyes look to you, ignoring you, and look to DT. Oh, don't worry. They won't be playing this
You
character
don't have to
any
look
longer.
at me anymore.
Follow me.
What do the rest of you do as this small young woman has apparently taken control of the Revenant on the back of this helicopter with all of you?
Half of my attention is if my adrenaline is still effective and I'm not severely wounded by, interestingly enough, someone from my own team who is the one who hurt me.
She hasn't forgotten. She's glaring at you from the other side of the helicopter.
Yeah, what did I ever do to her? Victor is feeling that stare, and it's making him absolutely uncomfortable and slightly self-conscious. So then he buries himself in his work. On the data pad, he is looking through all the notes on Project Ophelia, trying to absorb as much as
This is typically classified beyond your level of clearance. However, you find that this data pad has been unlocked. You have access to everything. She was retrieved out in the wild, surrounded by heavily mutated revenants, more advanced than anything that had been encountered before. She was set to be delivered to the nest, but she was somehow deferred over to this facility, transferred from location to location until here we are. All of the scientific data that is included is a lot to absorb. She isn't dead, but she's able to communicate with them, able to, because of the infection within her veins, control them.
But she's not dead.
Not strictly speaking, and per the research, not yet.
I'm going to approach her. I'm so... Please excuse me. I apologize. I've not...
Before you go any further, Victor, I do want to continue this.
Yes.
Mirin, you were making some dice rolls.
Mm-hmm.
Were you making a decision?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
It went the way that I thought that Mirin would act in this second.
What are you doing?
Mirin believes in loyalty to her soldiers, and she made a promise to Delta 7 that as soon as Delta 7 was no longer themselves, that she made a promise to him of what she would give to him.
So tell me what you do.
I am going to raise my pistol and headshot the Revenant formerly known as Delta 7.
I'm not going to make you make any rolls. This is a very tight space, and I don't think anybody was expecting you to just pull a pistol up to the head of Delta 7 and pull the trigger. Delta 7's body jerks at the recoil of the pistol as the lumbering large man falls out of the helicopter to the ground below, disappearing into the night. You may all continue.
Does that make a loud bang?
Of course it does, right next to your head.
Oh, a little bit of warning next time, please.
Mirin puts the pistol back in her holster. That is what loyalty looks like.
Okay, I would prefer that you then do not show that same kind of loyalty towards me, but we can discuss the kind of loyalty that we owe each other at a later time.
Vicky, if you ever turn to the point where you are not yourself, I also promise you that I will give you the same gift I just gave Delta 7. That was a good soldier.
That was a good soldier, I agree. And that was what Delta 7 asked for, I'm assuming?
That is what we agreed on.
Well, then I would like for everyone here to... I just want to make it very clear for everybody that is not what I want. I would rather be made a pet. For science.
You would rather be a test subject for the rest of your unnatural, undead life than to just get the simple, sweet gift of oblivion?
Being a test subject seems like a hell of a lot more fun than what you just did here. So.
I can't understand someone who would want to keep a pet around like that instead of just having that person be who they are.
Plug me into the wall, keep me around for as long as possible.
The finer points of this conversation are lost to you because most of it's happening through the intercom of their helmets. You just see that they're animatedly arguing with one another. What are you doing, DT?
DT's just filling up with rage right now. She's very upset. She's still lost in her head because she can just feel the pain of Bear as he went down. And she's still trying to take that in. And all she can hear is pet. Pet. I think that's just ringing in her mind right now. She's getting angry. She wants to walk up to Human. And she's going to grab him and say, Pet? What do you mean, pet? Gift? You took him out! He was mine!
I didn't call him a pet, Lil Shug. I don't consider him a pet. When he was alive, he was one of the most effective soldiers, effective beings that I've ever had the pleasure of being part of a squad with. And I made that human, that being, a promise that as soon as they were no longer the selves that they recognized, that I would give them a bullet through the head. That is a promise that I made to them, and I keep my promises. I understand that you're having feelings right now because I can see it on your face. But I do not and will never apologize for keeping a promise between soldiers. I never called him a pet. That was this one. If you want to go ahead and talk to Vicky about pets, I personally do not. I'm washing my hands of that between the two of you.
Are you throwing me under the bus right now?
I just want you to find my sister. Where is she?
You have to give us a description of her. It sounds like you made a promise of your own with your individual. Especially if you say that this one can talk. I mean, I've never met a revenant that can talk. I'll be honest, that would scare the shit out of me. But it looks like y'all have a connection, and I know for certain that Vicky would want to have a part of that. I'm sorry, Dr. Ramos.
Oh, please, we're way past that. But if I may, Dr. Victor Ramos, or Vicky, is my pet name that some in our company choose to use with me. You're welcome to use that as well if you so prefer, but I'm not a soldier. I am a scientist. I'm a doctor. And...
You're the one that experimented?
No.
On all of us?
No. No. I specialize in the field. If anything, I experiment on, and I point at the soldiers that are in the helicopter. In a way, these are who I experiment on. If your sister is still with us, then she will probably be where we are heading. So, and I get closer to you, and if you're sitting, I will sit. If you're not, I will sit and ask you to join me. You are incredibly special. I'm sure I am not the first person to make that observation. How did you end up here? How did we get you? I don't remember, and I'm like kind of scrolling through the data pad. I'm trying to catch up, but I sadly knew very little of you.
You think I remember? Think I remember after all that you all did to me? I don't even know where my sister is.
Do you have a connection to the dead? Is what I'm starting to understand.
Well, I think it's very obvious.
Right.
Yes,
I think
my
it's-
family, which you just took away.
I took away the closest thing I had to family. That wasn't your family. You had just met them, and I kept my promise to my soldier. But I think we've already set that point.
I'm very curious about this frame of mind. As Agent Mirin was just saying, you
Agent
just
Mirin, yeah.
as you didn't know Delta 7, but they were infected and they were turning, and you felt an immediate reaction?
Yes.
A bond. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes.
So maybe that's part of what occurs when people turn. But at some point you were alive like us. I don't mean to assume you're not alive.
Well, I mean, you have a pulse, right?
You call yourself a scientist and you can't even tell if I'm alive?
The first thing a scientist must be is curious. And I don't make assumptions. I just take in data and let that guide me.
Yes, I can feel them. I can feel their screams, their agony, and their anger over everything you did there.
But see, you keep saying me, but I did no such thing. So at some point, you were like us. You must remember what it was like to be regarded as an individual and not a collective.
You can say that.
Well, I have questions too. Like, I'm wondering how many of them can you control at a time? I'm just saying it could be very effective in future missions, like finding your sugar, your sister.
Are you recruiting right now, Agent Mirin?
Are we ever not, Dr. Vicky? One of the things that I would just be very interested in, because that's something that we run into a lot of, and that's something that we lose a lot of soldiers over. Not everybody gets infected. Not everybody becomes a Delta 7. Usually it's very quick and messy, or someone just doesn't come back. But if, for instance, you were interested, I'm just laying it out there, of being part of a team where we wouldn't have to take out revenants, or whatever you want to call them. I'll have an open mind. He calls them pets. I call them revenants. You call them something else. If you keep them away from a squad of my people, then we don't have to take them down, do we? So just some food for thought. Help protect yours to help protect mine.
I was a part of something like that once. At least they said they could protect me. And I had to get my sister back then. They have to do it now. I think I'm better on my own.
Well, I'm sorry for the people that you ran across, because apparently they were not an effective team. Mine is. Mainly.
Where's that team?
You little shit.
I can't help myself.
There are always teams that need to be formulated for different occasions. Different occasions like this. This is brand new. We've never been here before. We barely know where we're going. We have the personnel on this helicopter, and we have this future to look forward to, a future that we get to build. I am just simply saying, DT, Lil Shug, helping you find Big Shug. Perhaps the both of you can keep some of these revenants off our back. That is just literally something I'm putting out there. Don't feel any obligation because I don't care either way. I just see you as a very effective Lego piece. Do you know what Legos are? Hurt like hell when you walk on them. You are an effective Lego piece in the next team that I build. Just like Dr. Vicky is, despite his smart mouth. It is just something to put out there.
You find my sister first, and then I'll think about it.
If we can, it would be in progress of a future mission. But I can make the promise that I will use my resources to at least point us in the direction of Big Shug.
Make a search check for me, please, DT.
We have to search for the search.
There we go.
There
Yeah,
we
I
go.
know. Ooh.
Yeah, not good.
That is 4 degrees of failure.
4 degrees of failure.
You do have competency if you wanted to spend it. You don't have to. There's still plenty of game left before we're finished here. You'd have to spend everything to make that a success.
Yeah, I'll just let it fail.
You can't feel anything other than this roiling madness. It's below you. And the moon, the red moon, it's causing you to vibrate. You have to hold yourself together. You can smell their blood through their suits, hear the pulsing of their veins. And it takes everything that you've got not to just let go and rip every single person on this vehicle apart. How are you coping?
DT's just going to walk away. She's not going to say anything. She's just going to walk away to the back of the helicopter.
You turn away and you see another doctor, you assume, taking care of an unconscious young girl not much older than you. She's got bright, colorful hair, but she's covered in bites, scars all over her body, and you can see that this other woman is caring for this unconscious person. You quietly go into the back. You can make a detect motives now if you like.
Yeah, Agent Mirin is just like staring at the back of DT's head as they walk away. And she's standing next to Dr. Ramos. I got, is that 2 or 3 degrees of success? I got a 30 and my detect motives is a 55 without anything attached to it.
All right. Yeah, you know that there's something with this strange young woman who she's dangerous and perhaps unstable. You're not the only one who senses it. 5 is across the way from you, and you two lock eyes. And she's been quiet. She's been watching Ramos a lot, but she's also aware of the situation, and you can tell, soldier to soldier, that this space is covered. She's ready to spring if something happens.
Is there, who else is wearing the upgraded suits?
Just you right now. There
so
wasn't
not
time.
Alpha 5?
There wasn't time.
Did we like grab the crate?
You have the crate.
We have the
you
crate.
have the crate underneath at the bottom of the helicopter. It's being carried, but you don't have access to it right now.
Okay. I will. Oh, I'm super paranoid. I don't know who to trust. Because I was thinking that there was probably a dedicated line in intercom between the upgraded suits, like kind of like a general, and then general between suits.
Almost assuredly there is, but no one else is wearing the suits right now.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think for in the future who I would put in, because there were only like 2 other suits. Right?
You have 2 more suits to assign.
Who I would put in those suits to have a direct line with them outside of other people knowing. So that's something that Agent Mirin would think about. Looking at Alpha 5 right then, would look back over at DT and and then give a nod of recognition with Alpha 5 of it looks like that's going to be a future time then, and to stay at the ready. Hope that they get it.
You think they do, but you can see they're reserving the same look for Victor.
Ooh.
And
Agent
communicating
Mirin.
to you in a similar way.
Agent Mirin gives a little shrug. Depends. Didn't think about it.
I am, if I may, gonna go towards the back where I can assess my own wounds after everything that we've been through, and patch myself up as needed.
Yeah.
Mirin
Pull
follows
yourself back
him.
together. That adrenaline is starting to wear off. You had about an hour and it's gone, and you're starting to feel things. And Mirin doesn't seem to let you get an inch of space to yourself as Mirin is standing over you as you're redoing bandages. Mirin, you yourself are in a fair deal of pain now too because of the removal of the tracking device. It was painful. This drill, this arm, this mechanical clasping device was forcibly inserted into the back of your neck without any sort of anesthetic and ripped this piece of machinery out of the back of your neck with a fair amount of the flesh.
I assume you're not just using your own medical expertise on yourself, Doctor.
Well, do you see anybody around that is...
You ripped the tracker out the back of my neck.
Are you asking for some attention right now, Agent Mirin?
Oh, don't even, Vicky.
I'll get to you after I take care of myself.
Oh, well, you know what? That's just part and parcel, Dr. Vic.
All right, enough. I can't take this anymore. Dr. Remi stands. I'll see to your wound. I can take care of it.
And your name?
I'm Dr. Remi Chevalier. I'm a doctor too. I'm not part of your group. I'm never going to be a part of your group, but I will take care of you. That's what I do.
Mirin is somewhat higher level. Would she know about
Oh,
Remi's?
you know that name. And in fact, you had had a conversation recently with Banerjee about a very strange research assistant that had been retrieved from the wilds, one that was carrying sensitive data and also perhaps recollections that would hold the key to a lot of the research that Nero was working on. Everything in this helicopter right now is here for a reason. And you realize that Banerjee has been playing a very deep game of chess for a long time.
You might not know me, Dr. Remi. Agent Mirin. How you do? I do know of you.
There's just this distant look. And you know what mourning looks like. She's racked with grief. And you can see it. You can almost feel the darkness swirling around her. But she meets your eyes again. You can call me Remi. Let me see that wound.
Fair enough. From what I hear, you've treated something of the like before, more than once.
Yes. Seems like someone else removed their tracker ahead of you.
Wonder who that could have been.
Foggy memory.
Really? Is that what you're gonna go with? Not the first time I don't remember what I did.
You feel a sharp prick as you're having the sutures run through the back of your neck. You feel the needle and the thread. And she is quick and efficient. She takes care of you. She bandages you up. You don't feel like she's being particularly gentle. But it's not intentional. It's just matter of fact, lacking perhaps in any sort of bedside manner. But she does her work. And then she walks over to you, DT. Do you need anything?
I want to find my sister.
You keep saying that.
Yes.
We've all lost people.
She's not lost.
She's not here, is she?
No, but I'll find her.
I
with
believe
or
you
without
will.
you people.
I believe you will. But right now you're here, and these people, they're going to kill you if you don't get it together. I don't want to see you killed. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Do you want to see them killed?
There's a long pause. No, not yet. Don't do it now.
Fine. Where are we going?
Funny you should ask that. Agent Mirin, Double A, the pilot, another Spectre, part of this mission. Radio's back to you. We're closing in on the target. This is the coordinates that were given to us. Dr. Banerjee was very clear. I'm going to follow the orders that I was given. Do I have your permission to do so, Agent Mirin?
Agent Mirin would be very aware of what these orders are.
It doesn't seem like you are.
You know, it has been a very hectic base under siege. Remind me what your orders are, Double A.
I'm to usher you and the targets into the new location, the research facility that's been prepared for the doctors.
Targets is such an action word. Let's call them assets from here on out.
I'm simply repeating the orders as they were given to me, Commander. Assets it is, as you wish.
Yeah, I understand how Dr. Banerjee views all of us. Assets for the civilians. Yes, continue your orders, Double A.
It's dark, and again, as I said, it's very foggy. And it's probably like 4 a.m. Most of you are fairly fatigued. Some of you don't feel it at all. You recognize the structures. You've done enough research. But it's strange to see it, and you see Remi looking out, and you hear the doctor say, "That's the zoo. The Pittsburgh Zoo." As the helicopter starts to descend down into an area that is made of concrete, like an amphitheater, and in the center it seems to be like a dolphin tank, where there's a large circular platform and a single long walkway coming off of it. The helicopter lands on this platform as the wind is blowing this brackish, gross, overgrown water all over the place. And the helicopter powers down.
Home sweet home.
Well, I hope we are not expecting a tub of popcorn and a little popsicle with like little ears on it, because it's time to go to the zoo.
5, Double A, and the others that are with you start unloading. The soldiers are getting all the gear out that has been accumulated, all the cases. They're placed onto these large rolling platforms that are attached to the bottom of the helicopter. The helicopter is then covered with camouflage, netting, and A's taking care of all of this, Double A. And what do you want to have done, Agent Mirin, as you are with the assets?
I believe it would be a good idea to get our assets settled within a secure location inside, as the rest of our gear is shuttled within. Alpha 5 with me, Dr. Remi, if you would join us. Vicky, DT, there's space for you inside as well as we decide our next steps. I mean, I would assume you don't want to just be released out into the wild without any information about Big Shug.
Fine, but no cells and no box.
Wouldn't dream of it. If I'm not going to put myself in it, why would I put you in it? So, if you feel a particular way about it, stick right next to me. I don't care either way.
Fine.
Double A seems to know exactly where to go and is following a data pad. Your group is led through a concrete structure into the remains of what was the Pittsburgh Zoo aquarium. You're moving through underground passages, going deeper and deeper. Old glass on all sides of you, some of it cracked and broken. Vines and overgrowth have broken through in many places. Complete disarray. You're able to get all of the assets and equipment through the space as Double A continues to follow the trackers down deeper and deeper. To your right and your left, in a particularly tight concrete corridor, you see old faded paintings on the wall, once bright and colorful. Various images of sharks, silhouettes, now chipped and barely visible through the tarnished, aged walls. And you move alongside this large row of bulletproof glass with dark, pitch black, brackish water on either side. Cracks woven like spider webs through it. Double A just keeps going. You make your way to a large metal door that says Pittsburgh Zoo, employees only. Double A stops and looks up, looks back to all of you, seems to be reading something, and then steps forward to a portion of the wall and pulls back a seamless piece of concrete, revealing a smooth black screen, one that clearly doesn't belong here, one that's much newer than anything else. There is a white outline of a hand. Double A looks at you, Victor.
Yes.
According to my orders, you have access. The rest of us do not.
Oh. I see. Well, allow me. Victor will walk past Agent Mirin. I guess you're not going to be able to knock on my door and help yourself in. Place my hand on the pad.
Immediately it lights up, and there's a green light underneath it that seems to scan back and forth. The metal door clicks and immediately slides open, and where everything was dilapidated and worn, you see a corridor that's pristine and new. Fresh, white hallways that lead down a slope, deeper into this complex.
As Agent Mirin then takes point and steps past Dr. Ramos. Now, the inside of a coffin is this clean too.
And you would know?
I've put enough people in them.
It's good of you to clean up for them before you place them in.
Victor, you feel a rifle push you forward, right behind Agent Mirin, as 5 is standing behind you.
Okay.
Shall we continue?
Yes, all jokes aside. We need to talk.
Yes, we do.
And I shoot Alpha 5 a gleeful look of courtesy. Why, thank you.
Good luck, Doctor.
There's more than just one.
I'm aware.
And I'll keep moving forward.
DT, are you following along with the others? The other Dr. Remi is close to you, and there's a rolling table that's holding the unconscious girl that's being pulled alongside.
Yes, DT would like to stay closer to Remi and the girl, though.
You have to be careful. They're dangerous.
I know.
Be patient. Do what they ask.
How can I trust you?
You can. But I've been hurt too. I know what it's like to lose someone you love. You're not going to do any good to them, Dad.
Let's hope.
Further down this corridor, it opens up. There are a number of doors on either side. They don't seem to hold the same sort of lock that got you in here, although there are keypads. You're familiar with this sort of facility, Mirin? You could install locks or, put codes on doors so that people can have privacy as they see fit. Pretty standard. However, the large circular laboratory that all of you walk into, even by standards of Project Nero, is impressive. There is equipment and a number of facilities here that none of you have seen.
Okay. As we're walking by any of these facility, I'm gonna try to keep track of any of the personnel. Do I see
There are no personnel.
none? Wow, I guess this is a rather large playground for those of us that know how to use it.
Well, Dr. Banerjee definitely, put his foot in this one. Is there a fucking sauna? Because, might as well get rid of some cricks in my neck.
I mean, there's other things that we could utilize that can help you with any of that sort of thing. but
Okay, that's over and done with, Vicky.
I was not
DT, can you
suggesting-
roll a spot listen for me, please?
It's 55. What's that? 2 degrees of failure? 3 degrees of failure.
Would you like to do anything about that or let it go?
Yeah, I'll use my competency points.
You only need to spend 4 to make that a success.
Okay. I'll
You
do
have
it.
1 remaining.
Okay.
I'm glad you did that. Because now I don't have to surprise anyone.
Interesting.
Yay.
You feel a familiar presence. Something. It's hard to place. Something known to you. It's familiar. And it's here.
Is it a good familiar or bad familiar?
It's one of your people. You think it's different.
Can I tell what direction it's in?
Mm-hmm. You can.
I would like to tell. DT wants to let Remi know. She wants to. Is Remi still next to her?
Mm-hmm.
She wants to tap Remi and ask, do you know what they have here?
Do you?
There's something here.
Is it free?
Could be, I don't know. It's just here.
Agent Mirin? We're not alone.
Where's this coming from?
It's Remi, who's standing next to the unconscious Starburst and DT.
Well, we're going to have to make sure that everything's secure then. so that our assets are nice and secure in their new place. It's a shame one of my soldiers couldn't have taken a sweep of it ahead of time.
5 looks at you. I can perform that sweep now if you'd like, Commander.
I believe that we both need to, Alpha 5.
Affirmative. Merrick Young is already touching things in the laboratory and floating cases and opening things up.
Just like an egghead.
Who goes down the corridors? There are 5 separate corridors that split off from the central laboratory.
What kind of squad am I looking at with this besides?
You have 5. You have you have double A. You have Merrick, technically, who's a research assistant.
Victor Ramos would technically be
Victor
an
is part
infield.
of it. Again, a researcher, technically part of your mission. Not exactly underneath your command per se. It's murky to be sure. It's more as if Merrick was underneath Victor to be technical about it.
Mm-hmm.
Is Alpha 5, AA, and Agent Mirin, they're going to do a sweep? Is that what I'm understanding?
I'm asking.
Yeah, those seem to be the 3 soldiers that we have down here. So I would want one of our boxes to come along. I'm sorry, let me clarify that. I would want one of our eggheads with one of their boxes to come along.
Well, I'm not gonna be coming along, but I know what you're asking for. Do you anticipate any kind of confrontation in here?
I always anticipate confrontation, Vicky. That is my secret.
That's why I like you. I'm going to open up my box of vials, and I know Agent Mirin pretty well, so I'm going to create a little bit of a mixture with what I have, if I may.
Indeed.
And I ready my gun, and I.
The new armor has a port slightly more to the back towards the spine, and it you use the gun to administer the vial.
Mm-hmm.
What specifically are you trying to enact?
So, in my previous experiences in the field with my other strike team, I had different concoctions for each of them. Some of them were for focus, some of them were for resilience, some of them were for strength.
What are you trying to do for
I'm
Mirin
giving
right
a
now?
combination of focus and resilience.
All right. You're going to have a bonus to any sort of spot, listen, check, or search check that you're making. However, your paranoia is going to be doubled.
Got it.
And you're jittery. You feel the wave work through you. You and the other soldiers start making your way through as the agents. In formation. You and the other specters are making your way through. DT, are you going to do anything while they seem to be preparing for a search of this place?
Yeah, DT actually wants to interfere their formation and talk to them. So she's going to run up to Mirin.
I don't know if you noticed, but we're about to do something here.
I want to know what it is. Before any of you do anything, I want to know.
Are you asking to come with?
Yes. This is not your loyalty. This is mine.
Oh.
If you promise to do your best not to have whatever this is come after us and my people, we can find an accord here. This is exactly what I talked about on the helicopter.
Fine, but you can't kill it immediately. You have to let me know first.
You let me know when you can't control it, because if it starts a lunging and that's you doing it, I need to know that information. Because like maybe it's doing a little dance. I don't know. Making it dance? So you have to keep me informed. Deal, Lil Shook?
Deal.
Get in the middle of the formation.
Oh, well, I guess I'm going to be coming along. I'll take wherever you want.
Oh, all of a sudden Little Shook comes along and Vicky wants to go on for the ride.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever, get in the middle. Let's go.
You make your way down the corridors. You start searching. The first 2 are various storage rooms. The third is a set of crew quarters. Small, empty boxes with little more than a cot and a nightstand on them. Overhead lighting that is a little abrasive. Still pristine. Quiet. Down the fourth passageway, though. At first you think you're looking at more crew quarters. You're not. You're looking at holding cells. Inside two of them, you see revenants, rotting and standing there, their eyes completely black, just staring. They're connected to a number of tubes that are connected to the back wall. But that's not the interesting point. The third cell. Do you want to describe what's in the third cell?
In the third cell, sitting quietly, is a young woman wearing white coveralls, short hair, pale skin, rings around her eyes. She's sitting there playing with a small puzzle.
Can you talk? I usually would never ask that, but
Things change.
things have changed.
She doesn't respond.
DT, can you ask this one if they can talk?
Or do you already know?
Can I feel this one?
It's different. Something's not right. This space, it's hard to tell. However, you could try. Do you want to make a command roll?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to.
You've
Command.
used all your competency, though. What happens if you fail?
That means I don't get to control.
If only that was all.
Oh no.
Go ahead and make the roll.
Oh my god, no.
Well, what's your command?
This is gonna be fun no matter what.
It's a failure. Like,
Yeah. Well, it's only 1 degree of failure.
so I can use that one to make it
A wash.
a wash.
Which is still technically a failure, but it means that just nothing happens. You don't seem to be able to connect for whatever reason.
Yeah, I'll use it.
Okay, you can't connect, you don't know what's happening, you're not even sure if this... You don't think this person's dead. That's just what you think in this moment.
Well,
I don't know. It's not like the rest.
as in,
It takes a moment, and then you see movement out of the corner of your eye as you're working on the puzzle,
Mhm.
and through the cell, the glass at the door, you see movement in the hall.
Am I used to people being here?
No, it's
My
been a
head.
long time.
Whips out.
oh, well, there we go. Just needed to jumpstart.
Okay. I'm going through my data pad and seeing if I can find any evidence of anything in this cell, any data at all on it.
Yeah, what do I call you?
You
I'm
s-
Agent Mirin.
You see on the data pad, Project Icarus.
Oh.
There's a designation number as well. Unknown subject. Unknown physiology. Requires further study.
Wow. Possibilities are endless here, then, I see.
Is there an intercom button to? Okay, so pushing the intercom button.
Icarus.
Well, that's just there. It's still the intercom button is still pushed down. Mirin doesn't care. No, that's just what everybody is giving them. I would assume that they actually call themselves by. But why am I talking to you? I'm Agent Mirin. Mirin. What do I call you? What would you prefer to be called?
You. Oh, okay.
What's your name?
Right?
Oh, damn. I don't know. sign
No,
language.
I can just look.
What is your...
You don't know. Hi. Hi.
Hello?
Hi.
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 He doesn't matter. What's going on?
I matter, thank you.
Do I know my project name?
No.
What do you call yourself?
Well, I don't call myself anything.
You don't have a name?
I had one.
That you don't want to be called anymore?
Who are you?
I'm Agent Mirin. I'm head of this entire base. No matter who got us in here, I'm head of the base.
I'm gonna look around when Mirin says that. I want to, if I can, do a detect motives on some of the other agents' faces to see how they respond to that.
Go ahead and make a roll. DT, I'd like for you to make a spot listen check.
Better be good.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh. It's just complete failure.
Can I give some of my confidence?
Can I use a spot listen check?
No, not for this.
Okay.
Do you wish to give competency?
Sure. Yeah.
I believe you have 3.
Yeah, I guess I have 3. Mm-hmm.
How many would you like to spend?
Oh, goodness. Well, DT got a 95. And her spot listen is a 55, so that's 4 degrees of failure.
Still not enough.
I can't get it to a
Yeah,
success.
you can't. Here's what happens. Do you want to spend the competency to lessen it?
Yeah.
Okay, so you spend the competency. Somehow, DT, you're hearing her thoughts through the glass. And it's chaotic and swirling. And then something goes wrong. You start getting these flashes. Images of exploding vehicles, fire in the sky, screams and gunfire. And it takes you a long moment to recognize the face of the person that you're looking at. The two of you have met before. You immediately lock eyes with her, and you recognize her. Both of you were in Pine Haven. This is Kane. And this is DT.
I know you. I know that one. Who is...
That's DT. DT. Do you know your name now? DT, who is this?
He's guess a friend. Maybe.
Yeah.
Kane?
That's your name. And it's like water running over you. You'd forgotten it. And it's like you made it home. As relief washes over you. You're Kane.
Yeah.
You can read her lips. But there's something else there Something that feels familiar to you, Kane. A connection. One that's more than words. It exists between the two of you in a space that no one else can hear.
I think I pull into that connection. And I say, I hear you.
What did you do?
What?
Why?
What?
Why can you hear me?
I don't know. I hear you, and I know my name, and I don't hear that much. So that...
It's not good. You shouldn't be able to hear me. Can you hear others?
No.
Do you know how you got here?
I don't remember anything.
It's no use, and we're gonna get you out of here, okay?
I don't need to get out.
Yes, you do.
No.
You can come with me.
You see me point to these two. We've just been locking
I know.
eyes.
All they've been
this
doing is
whole time.
staring at one another
Yeah,
for the
we're
longest
just-
time.
We're
So-
just like, general
Yeah.
incomes open and watching these two just staring at each other.
They're here to help.
No, they're not. They're just here to relocate. Like they always are. It's what they always do. And they take you and they strip you apart again and again. They don't want anything good for you.
No, they help me.
No, we can find something better. We can find sugar.
That name's familiar to you, Kane, but you can't place it.
Thank you. It's nice that I can hear you.
Do the soldiers on the other side of this wall, just knowing that these two are just staring at each other, do you do anything?
Well, I had earlier did a detect motives on them based on what
On what's
Mirin
going on
said.
with the... Yes, that's correct. On the specters.
I did get 1 degree of success. I wanted to know how they responded to her saying that she was in command of this facility. If they...
The soldiers support Mirin unconditionally. You have no doubt that they would do anything that she commanded, without a question. They don't seem to like you very much. That's apparent too. But then again, knowing how Dr. Banerjee got everyone here and some of the information that's been circulating about your involvement, it doesn't really surprise you that you're so disliked.
Great.
They just keep on staring at each other.
Hi. Are you here to help?
Yes, we are here to help. What help do you need?
Whew.
Well, I need help remembering.
Okay.
And sometimes I need help when I get angry. And that's what
What?
they're helping me with.
I know what happens when I get angry. Things die. What happens when you get angry?
They
And
don't
I still
tell
don't know
me.
what to call you.
I'm Kane.
As in sugarcane?
No? I think with an I.
As in biblical? As in Cain and Abel?
Okay.
Do you come with an Abel, or are you...
What happens when you get angry, Cain?
They just tell me I have problems when I get angry.
Okay, we'll work on that.
Do soldiers die when you get angry, Kane?
I don't.
We'll just put a pause on that if we can. Mirin, please allow me to take care of the research. I'll report everything to you.
Fine.
You're causing a little distress.
Really intercom button. But, just letting you know. Press the intercom button again.
If you want me to not hear you, you should cover your mouths.
Wow, that was incredibly honest of you.
No need for that.
Okay.
But thank you.
I saw the...
Yeah, we were trying to have an aside because, because you don't remember what you do, and this one wants to just interview you, and we just got here.
This one likes to press.
Have you?
They like being in charge. A lot.
Because I am in charge.
Not all the
Vicky.
time.
Have you eaten?
I'm fine.
All right. Well, it seems like you're situated for now. We are going to continue this conversation. Especially about, I don't deal with feelings. Feelings are just, that's something for someone else. But I do need to know if you harbor a threat to my soldiers when you get froggy and you want to jump. If that happens, I need to know if my soldiers can be around you. Just like with DT here. Controls revenants. This is a fact, and we know this. Also know she doesn't like us very much. I'm just saying things as they are, Shug. A little Shug. I mean, I'm one of those people that always is like, let's just say what's supposed to be said.
Right.
You are in a research base, Kane. You are an unknown, but we will make you known. Because that is what we are good for, and that is what is good for everyone. Right? And in that way, you're in good hands.
I know.
If I may ask Kane a few questions.
I'm holding the intercom button down, although I know you don't need it. It's
I'll
just
need
for
it.
everyone.
I can't do what you do. I need to hear. Can you tell me if you recall the last time someone visited you and interacted with you?
It's been maybe 24 hours.
A day?
And do you know the name of that person?
It was a doctor.
Was it Banerjee?
No. You don't. You would have remembered that name. You didn't get a name.
Right.
They just came. They took care of you. And then they left. They didn't say much. Ran some tests. Gave you a new puzzle. That was all.
I relay that.
Do you have different people visiting you? Or is it the same person every time?
Same person or different people?
Sometimes same, sometimes not.
The same person. Were they very disarmingly charismatic, darker skinned?
Well, you're all nice.
From the two closed doors on either side, you realize that those revenants are now standing right up against the glass, staring right at DT.
DT wants to walk up to one of the glasses and see if she can recognize.
Through the glass, they press hands as the Revenant just stands, staring blankly at you, DC.
I'm gonna get you out of here, okay? I wish I could get you out faster. It's just gonna be a little more time, okay?
Is it saying something?
I don't know.
I need you to speak clearer.
She thinks so.
What did it just say?
Can she understand that? Or does she need more?
It's saying out.
We'll get you out. We'll get everyone back together.
That Revenant just stopped.
Yeah.
DT's gonna back away.
Um,
She's feeling a little overwhelmed at the moment.
As all of you are standing in this hallway, Merrick Young approaches with a data pad. I'm sorry to interrupt whatever this is. We've been unloading, and Doctor, I think that you should join me in the laboratory. What's her deal?
DTs?
No, the one that's staring at me in the white jumpsuit. Why are you looking so...
You know what? We can give you the download later.
Great. Yeah,
Soldier
I'll read
Egghead.
that. Yeah.
How about we all go to where you're saying, let's get back in formation.
Do-
There's plenty of time to explore the base later, DT.
Are you just going to... I mean, we have holding cells.
We're
Can
not
she
gonna-
come in with me?
I push the intercom button. No! That's not how this works. And plus, I gave a promise of no holding cells. So this one is going to be in a different quarter. You
Well,
We'll look into that.
slow your roll, Kane. Slow it all the way down.
I'm allowed out sometimes.
Okay, and we will talk about those times. We will talk about those
We'll
times
make an
later.
arrangement. We will make
Do you
an
need a
arrangement.
juice box or something? You good?
Mirin?
It's insulting.
Mirin? No.
DT, let's deliver you to your quarters. This is a lot of weird that has happened all in one day. And we are just getting settled into our new home. So let's...
Yes.
Before DT goes, she's going to walk over to Kane's glass and also put her hands up in hopes that she can read. That they can read her mind.
Oh, yeah.
The two of you connect.
And then just gonna say, I'm going to come back for you. You'll understand sooner or later.
Yeah. Yeah, please do.
Don't tell them anything.
Okay.
And then she'll follow Mirin.
Not everybody likes to be told what to do.
Who doesn't like a juice box?
As you enter into the laboratory, you can see that Merrick has done his work efficiently and has unloaded a number of the cases that were retrieved. Now, you didn't retrieve all of the cases, but you got the majority of them. Amongst severed hands and heads that have been suspended in a thick liquid in jars, revenants all, there are a number of cylindrical glass tubes that are lit from the inside, from an internal battery pack of some sort. And floating suspended in this liquid are these strange pomegranate-like fruits, like a dragon fruit, things that you have never seen before, these strange twisting nodes of purple and black and red. And Merrick is standing there and has already connected them to a number of the analytical machines that are connecting to these screens that are showing readouts. It's fascinating. I've never seen anything like this before. I've got brainwave activity.
From this.
From the fruit.
that's where we'll end our story tonight.